Today we're taking our wildlife photography Q&A videos outside. Tidings, how are you this morning, man?
I am very good yourself.
Say hi to the world.
Hello everyone.
Cappuccino start of the day,
Two cappuccinos for the guys.
Let's do this. My name is Gerry, I'm from Wild Eye, and this is episode 19 of our wildlife photography Q&A series. Yes, we're not in the office. You would have seen the little trailer. Marlon and I were sitting in the office and we thought, you know what? We've got this place downstairs, Vida. Awesome coffee, thanks Vida. So let's head out of the office and do episode 19 from down here. Been going pretty well all around. Focusing a lot on the bookings and stuff for next year that we're doing. Svalbard's filling up. So if you received an email from you haven't booked yet, spaces are running out. I kid you not. World-class, life-changing experience. So check that out. Other than that, I hurt my back in gym. A little bit sore, but I think I'll be okay. Yeah. So that's it for now. Let's get into your questions.
Anand asked via email, would you recommend a basic qualification such as zoology or something similar for someone wanting to enter the wildlife photography industry?
Anand, it's a good question and one that has come up in the past. I've been a firm believer in photography, life, anything I've done, that the more you know, the better it gets. Do you need a qualification? No, you don't. Any Tom, Dick and Harry can just take their camera, go into the field and take great images. However, again, I believe if you have the understanding, the appreciation, the knowledge of the subject you are taking images of, they will be so much stronger. If you have the time, inclination, money, whatever it is, to do the qualification, absolutely. But good images are not predicated. You don't need to have a qualification to create good images. But, like I said again, the more you know, the better it gets. Either through a qualification or by going on a trip with someone like myself or Marlon who can interpret those things for you. So I'm going to throw right back at you. Do you have the time? Do it, absolutely. Money won't go to waste.
Jordan asks on Instagram, are there places to do wildlife photography besides Africa? Maybe closer to or even in the United States itself?
Jordan, it's an interesting question for a lot of people out there because I think, and quite honestly, I think we're spoilt in Africa. I can drive from where I'm sitting here right now in the middle of Four Ways, Johannesburg, I can drive for an hour and a half and be in a big 5 game reserve. So I can grab a camera upstairs from the office and off I go. So we are spoilt. Worldwide, there's incredible destinations. Svalbard to me comes to mind because it's one of my personal favorites. It's just mind-blowing. Polar bears, walrus, reindeer. You can go into Alaska for the grizzlies, the bears. South America has good. You've got the Amazon pantanal. You can go take kangaroos in Australia if that's up your alley. But actually, just thinking of this, check this. What I would suggest that you do is go to Google. Let's see what happens if I do this. And type in wildlife photography in USA. Let's keep it simple. See what comes up. Okay, so on my first three results here, top 10 places to see wildlife in North America, wildlife photography in the States, 13 best places in the US for wildlife viewing. Let's have a look at what that says. So I would start there, but it'll give you an idea of, okay, so I've got bison off the bat. They give me Rocky Mountain National Park, Colorado, elephant seals, the Channel Islands National Park, California, and it goes on and on. I've got, what have I got else here? Yellowstone, Big Bend. So there's a lot of places. Use the internet. These things are priceless. Use them, Google them, see what's out there, and decide for yourself what it is that you want to take pictures of. I still think Africa is untouchable with regards to the diversity that it offers in wildlife photography, but your question, anywhere in the world, you should be able to find something to photograph. You could even set up something in your garden, a bird feeder. Some of you guys live close to the forest and the mountains and stuff, where you get things coming through. Even that is a good way to start practicing. But yes, anywhere in the world, wildlife photography can be done, but I want you to come to Africa.
Joni asks on Facebook, I recently started shooting in RAW and it seems to use a lot more memory cards. What is a good number of memory cards I need to take with me when I'm on safari?
Enough. No, okay, I'll give you more than that. Depending on the amount of cameras that you have, you're shooting in RAW, which does take up a bit more size, but in today's world, that's irrelevant. Rather get the detail. I personally have 2 cameras and I've got about 4 memory cards. 2 in each camera and then 4 additional because I make a point of downloading every evening. So if you're in a place where charging is an issue and you might not be able to charge your laptop, maybe a little bit more, I wouldn't go. Once your cameras have cards in them and you've got some backup, you should be fine. But make a point to download all the time. You don't want to travel home with just a bunch of memory cards and images on there. I've seen bad things happen where people lose 3-4 days worth of a Svalbard trip because they didn't download. It's painful and you don't want to be in that position. So again, short answer, enough.
Greg asks on Instagram, I love the experience of walking safaris, which is completely immersive, but I feel like Jeep safaris, which are more disconnected with the feeling of being removed, are far superior for increasing your photographic opportunities. What are your thoughts?
Sure. I think in your question, Greg, Greg, yeah. In your question, Greg, you answer it for yourself. I think you can get better photographic opportunities off a vehicle. And the reason is this. The moment you step off of a vehicle, the animals perceive you differently. Your proximity to that animal is going to be a bigger factor on foot than it is on a vehicle. So if you want to set up shots, obviously the biggest thing people are going to say to you is, on a vehicle you have that angle where you're shooting from that angle down. However, park further away, use a longer lens, it negates that effect. But photographic opportunities from a vehicle, I think, can be amazing. When we go on foot with people, they need to understand that it's about the experience of being on foot rather than the photographic opportunities. There are places where you can marry the two, absolutely. Monopools comes to mind, but it has to do with patience. And you need to approach animals in a very careful and respectful manner, which sometimes it contraindicated to good photography. So I agree with you 100%. You can get good images from a vehicle because the animals allow us to get closer. Most of them have been habituated over time and they don't react as heavily as to when we're on foot. So if you're in for the experience of wildlife photography, which is very different to wildlife photography itself, the experience of wildlife photography, go on foot, it's priceless, but then mix it up with vehicle shots and you kind of have the best of both worlds.
Joni asks on Facebook, how do you Instagram from safari? I have some friends from work that asked if I could do some safari photos while they can follow along as we go on safari.
So, Joni, I took this question. It was the last one I saw come in just before we started filming this. Instagram is golden. It is the place where people's attention is this year online. If you're not on there, you're being stupid about it. And you mentioned it for yourself there, that people want to see what you're doing. That's what Instagram is. It's a little visual diary, and you can only follow the people. It's not messy like Facebook. How do I do it from Safari? My number one consideration, obviously, is connectivity. So most of the places I go to, I have a SIM card that I use on my phone, and I can line them up as I go. If it's a place that does not have connectivity, you can line up a whole bunch of posts on Instagram, and when you get to the lodge, the camp, the hotel, hit the Wi-Fi and send them out one by one. The biggest thing from my point of view is that the process of me sharing my work out on Instagram does not influence the guest experience because some people cannot multitask. And I've seen on other vehicles where a guide will be sitting doing stuff on his phone and he's here while his guests are busy doing something. So look, I'm all in on Instagram. It's an amazing, amazing platform. And I get people, and I love this, guys, if you're watching this, that if I don't post 2 or 3 days in a row while I'm on safari, people start asking me, listen, what are you seeing? What's happening? So journey to come back is look at the area you're going to, figure out if you have Wi-Fi there, if you have connectivity. Roaming sucks, don't do it. But I can, for example, I think you're on Big Cats with me next year. On my phone, I open a hotspot and the guests can then run from there and post images out as well. So yeah, for me, I have SIM cards. I don't let it influence the guest experience, but I think it's a beautiful way to share what we do. Right, those are the questions for today, but I have one more. I'm gonna ask a question today, and we're gonna start doing more and more of this. I need you to follow myself. I'm gonna put a link down here for you and Marlon on Instagram. Andrew's out the office. We're going to start doing this when he's back as well. I'm going to ask Marlon a question, and in future episodes, I want him to ask me a question. Let's challenge this a bit. I mean, I think from an understanding, being a deeper involved in the industry, some interesting things might come out. So, my question to Marlon this morning is the following. everybody thinks you're on holiday all the time. You live the dream. I get the same thing. You see elephants, you see lions, you go on foot, you have this amazing kind of persona and a brand out there around you. What is the most difficult thing about what you do?
Sure. Thanks for that question, Gerry. And it's quite an interesting one. And there's a lot of things I guess you can say with regards to what are the challenges with being in the position that we are, where we get to travel a lot. And I feel that a lot of times people might have a bit of a misconception about what it is that we do. It might seem like we spend every single minute, every single day out on safari, all these beautiful places and fantastic animals and seeing all these sightings. But the reality is it involves a little bit more than that. I mean, looking at some of the things that we might face or challenges is balancing what we do with personal life. I know we feature a lot of our wildlife on our social media networks, and that's a lot of the stuff that you get to see. But behind the scenes, we still have to look after our families, to look after the wives, the dogs at home, make sure that the bills get paid, make sure that the house is running, that the electricity is working. Simple things like this that might seem silly, but living the lives that we have. Gerry's has come back. I think I've seen Gerry the last time perhaps that we got proper time together was in April in the office. Last week was my first time back in the office since April, and I have a beautiful wife at home. I've got dogs. My wife has got a baby on the way, and so you challenged in this way of looking after all of this while you're out on safari. So from a personal life, it's important to understand that and to have a balance as a wildlife photographer, spending all the time out there. And I think secondly, something interesting and something that I'm finding more and more and more is to keep challenging myself. As a wildlife photographer, you're not under pressure, but there are eyes on you, especially if you've created a bit of a platform around your name or about the brand. And I guess you challenge to produce content that might be a little bit different. I don't like to place myself into a bracket of this is the kind of photographer I am, or these are the shots that I want. So from a photographic point of view, and I think it's very important for us. I think Gerry will agree on this, but to keep challenging ourselves as well. And it might not always be that easy. We've got a massive library of images. I think I've got about 70,000 images at home. That's what I'm keeping. That's just everything, behavior and cool sightings. And I don't always want to do the same. So I find that on safari nowadays, I am taking far fewer photographs than what I ever used to. But at the same time, I'm becoming more selective. So I know what it is that I want. Perhaps if you see situations or sightings unfold, there's certain things that might draw my eye, where before it, maybe never used to. Certain sightings that I'm taking less photos in, looking at it more, enjoying it more, learning, watching, experiencing. And I think that is a challenge for a lot of guys, because nowadays, like Gerry's saying, you pick up your phone and it's literally like scroll, Facebook, scroll. And so few do I get to an image where I actually stop and go, wow, that image is amazing. And that's a challenge for me, that I'm not putting my images out there to make you stop and look at them. It's for myself. It's things that I enjoy. But at the same time, I also don't want to always be, you don't want to be mundane. You don't want to just flow with the pack. So for myself, a personal challenge is definitely to keep producing images that make people go, wow. Because at the end of the day, when I'm out there, animals don't have a voice. A lion can't speak up for itself. Rhinos can't speak up for themselves. And at the end of the day, I feel it is my mandate via social media, via Facebook, Instagram, all these platforms. I can be their voice. I can tell their story through what I capture. And I feel that's an important part for me to remember and to challenge myself. This is not just for me that I'm taking these images, but it's for a greater good of wildlife and conservation. But thank you very, very much. Thanks, Gerry, for that question. I appreciate it. And I'm sure we'll get to know each other a lot more as we go on moving forward. Thanks, guys.
And that is why I'm proud to work with Marlon and have him as a part of the team. Interesting answer. I mean, it's something we get all the time. Is you're on holiday, it's great, you see lions, it's awesome. But there's the flip side. Wouldn't change it for the world. And I stand by everything that Marlon said there. So we're going to wrap up this one. It's been fun to come outside. I think we might do more of these outside things in future. Maybe go out in the bush and shoot a few, hey? Nice. Yeah. So for now, like I mentioned, I'm going to ask Marlon and the team more questions as a part of the series, and I want you to do the same. Guys, this is what it's about. It's about tapping into what makes other people tick, because I 100% believe it'll make you a better photographer. Social media is great, but if you use it just as a big foghorn and say, look, my images are great, you're missing the plot. Let's share, let's get involved, let's discuss, ask us questions, and we will keep on answering them for you. We're in the office at least for the next 2 weeks together, hey, Marlon? At least.
Maybe a little bit less.
Maybe a little bit less. But, so we've got a hell of a lot of content coming your way. Help us. We'll put this stuff out there for you. If you have blog ideas, tutorials, whatever, ask us the questions, and we'll create that content for you guys. My name is Gerry. I'm from Wild Eye, and I will see you next time.